Thrifting can be one of the best ways to dress better if you're on a budget, but it's also a great way to add some really unique items to your wardrobe. I bought many items secondhand, some of them are not that good, but today I want to go over 7 of my favorite thrifted purchases. And I would love to hear if you have any favorite secondhand items, let me know in the comments below. The first item on the list is a coat that I recently bought on Vinted, and it's the classic Fei Quattro Ganci. Excuse me for the horrible Italian pronunciation, but I think it means 4 hooks. And this jacket, as you might already tell by looking at it, was inspired by the jackets that fireworkers were wearing. And in this particular case, the ones in Maine in the United States. And this was the foundation for this iconic Italian outerwear brand. And if you buy a Fei jacket new, they are incredibly pricey. But on Vinted, for example, you can find quite a few of them at a pretty good price, to be honest. You can find them for around $100 to $150 in very good conditions. And what I love about this jacket is that it always adds a really unique look to your outfits. And it's one jacket that you don't see too often out there, unless you're maybe at the Pitti Uomo in Florence. And some of the most classic colors here would be navy or green, but I went for this cream color and the jacket was in a very good condition. It has a nice worn-in look, but not too much. And it's surprisingly warm because, as you can see, it has a removable inner lining, and even though it doesn't look like much, it actually keeps you really warm even on pretty cold days. The next item is this beautiful vintage watch by Citizen. It's a Quartz watch and I couldn't find too much information online, but I found that it's probably from the 90s, and a couple of things that I really like. First of all, I like that the gold is not too shiny, especially with a lot of the cheaper golden watches. It's sometimes just a little bit too shiny and it's not exactly something that I like. So this type of gold color is pretty nice. And of course, I also like the size because this has a vintage size as well. So it's quite small, which I think always looks a little bit more classy than many of the current watches. I think it's a beautiful watch, and especially the snowflake dial in gold. I think it looks incredible. The next item on the list is this beautiful scarf by Drake's. It's one of my favorite purchases because it's my first scarf by Drake's and I really love their designs and their prints. I think they always have the coolest scarves out there, and unfortunately if you buy them new they are super pricey. For a scarf like this you will pay probably about $400, but I was lucky to get it secondhand for $70 on Vinted, and $70 I think is still pretty reasonable. And in this case I love the print of it. I think it looks absolutely beautiful and the color is also very nice. It has this really rich and deep green color, which is extremely easy to combine. The next item on the list is also a relatively new purchase, and it's this beautiful Raglan coat here by Bugatti. And Bugatti is generally not the most interesting company, but sometimes they have some really cool vintage pieces from the 90s or from the 80s. I don't exactly know how old this coat is, but I think it's quite old and it was in an excellent condition. So as you can see, when I bought it, the tags were still on the sleeves and the whole coat had absolutely zero signs of wear, and I absolutely love it. So this coat cost me $150, which is not the cheapest find on secondhand, but for the quality, if I would get a similar looking coat like this in a similar quality, it would cost me at least $600. So if you look, for example, at brands like Spear & Mackay, or if you look at Possetka or Birkenberg, all of them, they typically start at around $600 or $700. So $150 is still a pretty good deal. And I love the length of the coat, which is always nice with more vintage pieces, that they are a little bit longer than more modern coats. And the color and the subtle herringbone pattern is really beautiful and it works with many of my outfits. The next item I actually bought about 2 years ago, I think. And this is an item that I wore many times already because it's extremely comfortable. It has a rubber sole and they're just very easy to wear. And it's this black penny loafer by Tod's. I bought them locally in Germany for $25, and if you buy a new pair of penny loafers from Tod's, I think they're typically around $400 or $500, and I personally love wearing them, and especially in a city like Bangkok where it rains a lot and where the pavement is not exactly even, a rubber sole like this is very convenient. I bought the jacket here around the same time as I bought the Tots loafers. And this one is by Gant. I think it was less than $50, but I don't fully remember. It's more than 2 years ago now. But I'm very happy that I bought it. It's not only super warm, but it's, for me at least, it's a great alternative to a Barber jacket. And many people actually ask me whether this is a Barber jacket or what model it is. And I personally love the length of it. It's a little bit longer than most normal jackets. The fabric is really nice. And then of course the beautiful corduroy color. I personally really like Barber jackets. And in the future, I definitely want to get one. But at this moment, I don't really have a need for it. So for me, this was a great, affordable alternative. But what I love about this jacket is that it holds up pretty well. And it has a really nice, subtle worn-in look. So it doesn't look too used, even though I've worn it many times now. But it does have a very nice worn-in look. And then the last item are these beautiful Norwegian split-toe loafers by Dita. And this is a German company, maybe you've guessed from the name already. And I bought these ones secondhand on a local version of eBay in Germany for around 85 euros, which is roughly $90. And normally I think when you buy a pair like these new, they're about $400 or $500. So it's still a pretty good deal, especially because when I bought them, they were still in a very good condition. And what I love about the loafers is that they are very comfortable and I just absolutely love the way they look. But because they are a little bit heavy and very substantial, I typically only reserve them for some special occasions, maybe some weddings or some other event. But I think the color and the design are absolutely beautiful and I'm very happy that I bought them. So those were 7 of my favorite secondhand items. Which one did you like the most? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching and see you next week.